right. Good Friday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I'm your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Friday evening going into your future. We have some stuff that we are going to go on and talk about for the night for tonight. And a lot of those things are pretty much some reoccurring stuff that we've already been talking about for the most part, but there are some new stuff. There are some new stuff. So here's the what's on tap screen. Obviously, what we will be talking about current condition. We'll be talking about weather condition for tonight, tomorrow, short-term future, long-term future, all of that stuff that we usually talk about. That's number one. And then also, number two, being the main points. The main points are what you see right now. What's on tap, lingering cold with very low wind chills going into early next week. Dry and stable patterns as it dominates through the weekend. And temperatures will remain below to near average through the weekend as well, through all the way into next week. And then we will be talking about a warm-up as well. That should be added on there as well. So a warm-up as we go into next week. And so those are the main things that we're going to be talking about. So if you have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. We right now have around a good 3 people watching, only 1 like right now. So if you're a part that group that have not went on and done so yet, go on and do so. I suspect that we will get some viewers later. So this probably will not be the only bunch that's here right now. That, and then also hit the subscribe button. We're at 701, trying to get to 800. We are 99 away from that main goal of 800. And then share with your friends, family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to like that, because it really does help us out. It helps us grow. So what's currently going on? As the current radar loops, there is nothing going on right now throughout the entire state of South Carolina. We are nice and dry as we speak. What about if we look at the entire U.S.? We do in fact have some snowfall going on in New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, going on over inside of New Jersey, Connecticut getting on some of that snowfall, maybe even some snowfall over here inside the UP of Michigan and Michigan, snowfall going on in West Virginia, rainfall going on in coastal North Carolina, and then maybe even some rainfall over here in Washington State, going along the border of California and Nevada. Everybody else, though, looks relatively dry. I mean, look at the central U.S., the Midwest, the deep South. I mean, it just looks relatively clear and just nice. Now, what about for our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now actually is not too present. We do see some clouds over there, like in the PD areas, maybe some clouds in the northern Midlands. Everybody else, though, is looking clear right now. And even if we go and look at that cloud cover for the future, we start off here. This is at 9 o'clock. You push this forward. Get into tonight. We clear up a lot as we go into tonight. Going into tomorrow, I see some fog cover up there inside the mountains of North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. Going all the way past to 3 a.m., going all the way to around 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And it still seems relatively clear. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a clear day tomorrow for our Saturday. Until you get to maybe around like the evening, you may see some light clouds moving into the upstate, but then we really will start to see some clouds moving in from the west later tomorrow night. Here's like 10 o'clock going into 12 o'clock in the morning here. Cloud cover moving through the upstate, Midlands, low country, going to Sunday. Like Sunday morning here, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, cloud cover now on like the northern part of the state, kind of like cuts the state almost in half, the northern and eastern parts. Going to like late morning on Sunday, going into Sunday afternoon, cloud cover seems prominent. Even as we go into Sunday evening, cloud cover still seems to be the main area of kind of seem like the more dominant force between cloud cover and clear skies. Now, what about for our current temperatures? Current temperatures right now, we have around a good 48 inside of Somerville, 50 in Charleston, as well as a good 51 in Beaufort, 53 in Hilton Head Island, as well as 46 in Georgetown, 47 Murray's Inlet, as well as 42 in Conway, 45 in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, as well as 49 in Orangeburg, 50 Aiken, even around a good 50 in Columbia, 48 in Sumter, and 44 in Hartsville, 45 in Florence, and 47 in Newberry, 48 in Lawrence, and 48 in Anderson, 46 in Greenville, and even around a good 47 in Clemson, 44 Spartanburg, and 42 in York. Now, for your air quality, for the most part, we look relatively on the good side, but There are a couple of moderate areas from Florence throughout the Tri-County areas, going in throughout maybe Sumter as well, going on just to the north of Florence, going to like Bennettsville, Dillon, Cheraw, Darlington, Bishopville, Camden. All these areas over here are close, if not inside of that moderate area. So not quite unhealthy for sensitive groups, but for the most of us, we're looking good. Low temperatures for tonight. It's going to be a cold night tonight. 29 in Greenville, 29 in Spartanburg, as well as a good 30 in Newberry, 31 in Greenwood, and 33 in Columbia, 33 Orangeburg, and 34 inside of Barnwell. We also do have around a good 32 in Sumter, 30 in Florence, and 29 in Dillon, 34 in Myrtle Beach, and 33 in Georgetown, 36 Moncks Corner, and 38 in Charleston, 35 Walterboro, and 41 in Hilton Head Island. High temperatures for tomorrow morning, going into tomorrow afternoon, evening. You have around a good 47 in Greenville, 45 in Spartanburg, 43. Rock Hill going into 50, maybe even inside of Columbia. Greenwood, 52 in Aiken, 50 in Orangeburg, as well as 52 in Walterboro, 47 in Moncks Corner, and 50 in Charleston, 42 in Georgetown, and 54 in Hilton Head Island, 39 in Dillon. Now for our rainfall. Rainfall is not expected, so we're going to be nice and dry in the next 24 hours. At least no accumulation, that means. So, if you do somehow manage to see an isolated shower here and it doesn't accumulate, it's not a part of this graph right here. Crazy score for tonight, we're at an 18. Why are we at an 18? Well, number one, it is obviously very low danger. It's going to be just a cool and stable night, mostly clear to partly cloudy. Excellent radiational cooling potential, especially earlier. And then even completely dry, not looking for any sort of precipitation. Light winds, maybe a little moderate wind chill as we go into tonight. We'll look at another wind chill as we go into tomorrow night, going into Sunday morning. We'll look at that. No freezing, rain, ice, black ice risk, anything like that. But, I think for the most part, that is going to be just a nice night tonight. SPC outlook for tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, no thunderstorms are expected, so we are good in terms of thunderstorm activity. Fire weather, we're good here as well. Excessive rainfall, we're good here. So let's go on now and look at the models. Time is at the bottom part of your screen. Make sure that you go on and pay attention to that. That is very important. And if we start off here at 9 o'clock p.m., we go on and push this forward, and you can see absolutely nothing. We go into tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, going all the way to 11 o'clock in the morning, to 2 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, going into 8 o'clock p.m. Nice and dry. Nice and dry. Going into 12 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Going into Sunday, late morning, Sunday afternoon. I do see like a couple of, drizzle, like a little drizzle activity maybe trying to go on Sunday afternoon inside of like the northern PD areas, but that's it. Past that, that's all that I can see here. So what about the long term future, real quick? And, we're going to talk about temperatures. We're going to talk about all that because that's also very important to talk about. Okay, that's a part of our what's on tap screen. If you remember, we're going to talk about mainly just the temperature. That's the main point for today. But we'll go and look at the convection first. Here we go, starting off where we just ended off at Sunday evening. Go ahead and push this forward. I don't see anything too crazy going through Tuesday. We go into Wednesday. I do see some rainfall maybe trying to move its way through the upstate, through the PD areas as well. As we go into, that is Wednesday of next week. But nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Maybe some more rainfall event. Maybe another rainfall event as we go into around Friday. And then I do see some snow, some sleet, all that kind of stuff just to our north. We'll keep a look at that and see if that brings its way down towards us or not. But right now it just seems like mostly rain for us as we go into next weekend. As we are into next weekend, this is Valentine's Day right here, 7 o'clock in the morning. Looks like a rainy Valentine's Day. So that's not, probably not what a lot of people want to see. But, still 200 hours out. So things can change. You continue this forward even more all the way into Monday, going into Tuesday and Wednesday, not of next week, but the week after next week. And it just looks like maybe another little cold front trying to move its way through as we get into next weekend. That being on like February the 25th 21st going into the 22nd, but that's way too far out to talk about. But that's just in terms of your convection, you know, what we're looking at for the future. Nothing too crazy. I'm not looking at any sort of like big system or anything like that right now. But the main thing I do want to talk about is obviously the temperature. So we're going to start off here. And I'm actually going to go on and start by showing you not the radar, but if we go over into our low temperatures for Saturday night. These are our low temperatures for Saturday night. You can see for the most part that a lot of us are in the 20s. Some of us are inside of the 30s here for Saturday night. And it's going to be cold. Not tonight. This is not tonight. This is for tomorrow night. So make sure that you're watching out for that. And then if we go on and look at wind chills, these are wind chills for Saturday night. You know, we will see some teens as well. We will see some teens. I think everybody will have wind chills in the 20s or lower. Everybody will be trying to get in the 20s or lower in terms of wind chills on Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So make sure that you go on and watch out for that tomorrow night going into Sunday morning as we start off, you know, this weekend here. Speaking of starting off the weekend, go on and cover that up real quick. Let's see as we continue on, because I did forget to give us a round of applause because it is indeed Friday evening, which means we made it towards the end of the week. Oh. Yeah, that was my apologies for that. I forgot to do that at the beginning, but we made it all the way to Friday evening, so we're done with the work week. We're now at the weekend now, so that's great to hear hear of. But anyways, back to this. It looks like, I mean, even as you get into Saturday night, we talked about that going into Sunday, you know, maybe potentially even a bit cooler Sunday morning than it is Saturday night. So, you know, especially down there near Myrtle Beach, I see 15, Georgetown 17, Charleston 20. So it's going to be, like I said, cold Saturday night going into Sunday morning. But that's just what we're looking at here throughout the short term. What about the long term? Since we've now have looked at our short-term temperatures, we want to move back over towards the models. We're going to start off here on, let's see, this is 10 o'clock p.m., so pretty much right where we are right now. We go on and push this forward real quick. And you can see, obviously, the low temperatures tonight. You know, going to tomorrow, low temperatures for tomorrow are going to be cold. Tomorrow night, we just talked about that. But if you continue this forward even more, I want to show you this. We start off, this is Sunday night right here. You know, we're going to see some more below freezing. Not too bad. But this is Monday at 4 o'clock p.m. Monday at 4 o'clock p.m. You see 60s up there inside of the upstate. You see 60s near Augusta. You see 50, that's 56 near Charleston. You know, you see 60s in the inland low country. You still see some 50s over here on the eastern side, maybe even some 40s at the peak of the day. But you continue this forward even more. We have lows in the 40s. We go into now the next day where everybody is in the 60s. This is Tuesday right here. This is Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m., the peak time of the day. And it looks like that we are all inside of the 60s. Okay? Not too bad, you know, not too bad. I do think that, you know, that we will obviously get warmer than that. I can guarantee you that if we go into Wednesday. Look at this. Wednesday at 4 o'clock p.m. Not only is everybody at least in the 60s, we have some people in the 70s going into Wednesday. So that's something to look at as well. And I mean, if you think that's the only model really saying it, I mean, there most likely are some more. Like the Euro has, you know, like a 69 down there near Hilton Head Island. Not as widespread, it seems, but it does have 70s. Like this is going into Thursday here. We have 70s over here. So a warm-up is coming next week. I can 100% assure you a warm-up is coming next week. We will have temperatures in the 70s next week. Now, who will receive that 70-degree mark? You know, right now, it looks like if I go in and look at the official forecast from the National Weather Service themselves, they probably have a good amount of areas that are included in that. but I know we start off into Monday. They don't really have anybody in there for Monday, but this is Tuesday right here. You know, you see 70 near Orangeburg, 71 in Walterboro, 71 in Barnwell. You see 60s throughout the state. But Wednesday is the day, in my opinion, that things could potentially really start to ramp up. You know, you have 70s throughout the southern upstate. You have 70s throughout the Midlands, throughout the Low Country, throughout the PD areas as well. You see 60s near the coastal area, 60s over here inside of the northern upstate. And then what about Thursday? Well, Thursday things will start to calm back down a little bit more. And then Friday, things will start to really drop down. So really enjoy those temperatures during the middle part of next week because we will be dropping back down. We will be dropping back down. In fact, even if you look at low temperatures, I mean, we might have low temperatures back in the 50s for once. So not bad. Not bad at all. Now, that is just in terms of, you know, going into next week. What about further into the future? What about further? I'm going to go back over towards the GFS real quick. If we go back into Wednesday, going into Thursday, going into Friday, things start to, you know, calm down a little bit. We have a little bit of some cold air over here kind of covering us while they are a bit warmer on that side. And it looks like a cold front pushing through as we go into next weekend. So that's, you know, that whole system that we were looking at, that's a cold front right there as it moves its way through. And we will get temperatures back in the 60s for some as we go into the week after next week. And will we see some 70s? I mean, potentially again, as we go into Wednesday, if not next week, but the week after. I mean, we see 80s down there in Florida. You know, we see a lot of us are maybe trying to get to that 80-degree mark. I mean, I see 78. Do I see a 79? I don't see a 79. I do see 78, so that goes all the way into February the 19th. So that's going into Thursday. Again, 300 hours out, things will 100% change there. But, I mean, I see a lot of good signs for warm temperatures. I see some 80s as you go, what is this, going into Friday now? So, a lot of good news coming out. But it looks like a cold front is going to be coming through right after it, though. So, you know, we'll see what happens with it. We will see what happens with this. This is way too far out to talk about, like I was saying. But T-shirts are coming back out. T-shirts will be coming back out. That's all really that I have to say in terms of the long-term future, though, as there is just, you know, I pretty much covered up everything. Talked about the wind chills as we go into the next couple of days, mainly tomorrow night. Talked about the dry and stable pattern. And then we also talked about temperatures remain below to near average through the weekend, but that warm up as we go into next week. So let's go in and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight for wherever they are, because I assume that we do have some weather reports for where people are today. Maya Lewis says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Mr. Chris says, hello, everyone from Monk's Corner. Hope you had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Maya Lewis says, I pray that everyone had a wonderful day. Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris also says, please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free and it helps the channel grow. He's absolutely correct. Right now, we have around a good 15 people that have tuned in tonight, and we only have 4 likes. So if you're a part of that 11 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind anytime. Maya Lewis says currently in Georgetown it's 42 degrees. Mr. Chris says currently it's 45 here with a light wind. And then Maya Lewis says today we had chilly but a sunny day. Mr. Chris says was very comfortable today, a little bit cool but not bad. I'm looking forward to this week coming. I am as well. Well, thank you so much for both of y'all's weather reports. Maya Lewis says early this morning Georgetown was very foggy. It was foggy where I was too, a bit early. And there also was a chance for that freezing fog as well, which also, if you don't know what freezing fog is, it's pretty much just fog that gets to the ground when it's freezing outside, and that will cause some slick conditions on the road. So, you know, if it's freezing cold outside, like 32 degrees minus, then, and it's foggy out there, you're going to have to really watch out because that's moisture mixed in with that freezing air. You know, that's going to cause for some slick conditions. But it was pretty much cleared up by the time I was gone, though, for the most part. Mr. Chris says, everyone, please remember that we still need to check on our neighbors' pets and plants. Going to get cold again, definitely is. Especially if you're up there inside the upstate. I mean, those low temperatures tonight, up down into like the upper 20s. You know, maybe low country, not so bad. You know, 30s, 40s, mainly mid to upper 30s. You know, maybe in the PD area, not that bad. The Midlands might not even be that bad either for the most part. really just that northern PD area and the upstate. My nana says Loj was a nice sunshine, but very chilly. Actually, well, I was inside actually most of the day. So yeah, I was inside for most of the day, so I didn't really get to experience too much of the weather. I mean, the only time I really experienced it was this morning at around like 9 o'clock, and then this afternoon, at around like 4-ish or so. Let's see. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, JP. Good evening to you. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. Milo Lewis says, wow, Saturday night seemed like a drip faucet night. Definitely will be. Definitely will be. And that's all I can see here throughout the chat right now. So we're going to go on right now and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations, what are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we will go on and talk about their areas for them. And even though, they're, South Carolina is not even their main area, not even their main state, but they still show their support. So we're going to talk about San Antonio first. Low temperatures tonight at 50, high temperatures tomorrow at 80, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 51. Precipitation not expected at this time. Not expected, severe weather not expected, excessive rainfall not expected for any of the 4 locations tonight. But it looks like, for the most part, as you just continue to go into your future, I mean, like you see, high temperatures tomorrow at 80, even as you go into like Sunday, 76, Monday, 76, Tuesday, 77. So it's going to continue to stay warm. It's going to warm up even more. Wednesday, 82. You do have a chance of rainfall, it seemed like on Monday night and Tuesday, but that's about it. For Raleigh, North Carolina, you have low temperatures tonight at 24, high temperatures tomorrow at 34, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 18. No precipitation is expected at all for tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to be a bit breezy. No precipitation is expected, though. It's going to be a bit breezy tomorrow, though, with wind gusts as high as 38 to 40 miles per hour tomorrow. So it's going to be really windy as you move into tomorrow. And so, this time I made sure not to mix up the 2 locations again like I did last night. So this is correct. It does look like that you will be warming up, though. Tuesday, 63. Going to Wednesday up into the upper 60s. So it's going to warm back up. It's not going to, be wind chills down to 10 degrees like it is tomorrow night, and Sunday, where it's going to be wind chills as low as 10. Chance of rain really doesn't pop up until like later next week, though. Philadelphia, you have low temperatures tonight at around 13. High temperatures tomorrow at 17, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 5. I told you that it was going to get colder. I said it was going to get colder. High temperatures are going to try to rebound back, though. Especially as you go into next week, like Monday, for example, you will start to, get higher in terms of those temperatures. But I told you that it was going to get a bit colder before that happened, and that's seeming what it's like. It also will be windy tomorrow and tomorrow night. You have winds up to 55 miles per hour tomorrow. So it's going to be windy. I mean, you might even see, somebody might even see 60 miles per hour. I mean, that's a severe thunderstorm right there, if you have the rainfall with it. So, that's something definitely to look out for. And with that, you'll have wind chill values as low as negative 10 degrees, down all the way to negative 10 degrees. So just a lot of stuff to talk about. There. But light snow, likely tonight. Tomorrow, chance of light snow as well tomorrow. Like I said, no precipitation expected there. And then, like I said, you will continue to warm up for the most part. Won't be that high, though. For Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 38, high temperatures tomorrow at 63, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 49. Precipitation, not really expected until around Monday night and Tuesday. Looks like your temperatures will be warming up, though. You'll get back up, or at least try to get back up to the 80s. Tuesday, 77, 76 on Monday, so you will try to. So that's it for these 4 areas. What's going on right now throughout the entire U.S.? Well, right now, An Arctic cold front will impact the Great Lakes, the Northeast, and the Mid-Atlantic. Snow showers and snow squalls will accompany the system with increasing winds and falling temperatures. Damaging wind gusts may result in tree damage and power outages. Meanwhile, moisture returns for the Pacific Northwest and Hawaii this weekend, with both coverage and intensity of rainfall in higher elevation snow. So there's a lot going on right now, like a lot going on. But the main area right now probably is up there in the Mid-Atlantic. You know, we were just talking about for Philadelphia, you know, New York City, going on over there instead of like Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, into New England areas. Some fire concern maybe in northeastern Colorado. Some fog concerns in south central California. And that's about all I can see right now throughout the U.S. Also, you know, lake wind advisories in effect as well. So if you're on, you know, any lakes or anything like that, watch out for those winds. Watch out for those winds. As you get into until 1 o'clock p.m. on Saturday, strong winds and rough waves on area lakes will create hazardous conditions for small craft. So make sure that you watch out for that. And that is all that I can see right now. That's all I can see right now. Yeah, so just watch out for those wind gusts, you know, as you get into like tonight going into tomorrow. You know, it was a bit windy today, a bit breezy today. As that cold front will pass us, you know, you'll have wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour for a lot of areas. So make sure, like I said, keeping an eye out on that. And then I think that is about all that I have to say right now throughout for the weather forecast for tonight. Mr. Gray says, everyone, please remember to stay safe, warm, and hydrated. Well, thank you so much for that. And also, we have a new top fan of the night for tonight. My Aunt Lula is at number 1 for the night tonight. Mr. Chris is at number 2. And then my Nana's at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, also being here early. That's one of the things that happened tonight. I said, you know, sometimes being early will help you, will benefit you, and that's what happened tonight. Also that, and then also going on and being active, so more than just 1 or 2 chats. That will put you up to that top spot if you want to be a part of it. But that's all that I have to say for tonight. Make sure that you go on and hit the like button if you've not already. Like I said, we have around a good, 18 people that have tuned in and only 5 likes. So if you're a part of that 13 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. Also hit the share button. Share with your friends, family members, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to. You can even share it to somebody who works at Starbucks. It doesn't matter. Just share it to somebody so they can go on and get that weather. 701, trying to get to 899 away. We're still making our way there. And that's all that I have to say. So make sure before you leave, you go on and hit those 2 buttons. I'll be back tomorrow morning with your Saturday morning forecast update.